A very warm good evening to our viewers and welcome to the Evening Review Show. I'm Matthias Aufiko, news editor of the Namibian Sun newspaper. Well, winter is slowly but surely creeping away, but the daily affairs of our people needs to be taken care of, and that's why this show is here. Tonight we have in studio the chairman of the Katutura Residents Committee, a committee formed earlier this year to ensure the well-being of the needs of those who live in the country's capital. Chief amongst those, daily bread and butter issues, infrastructure development, water and electricity supply, and general basic services supply. Well, the committee formed earlier this year met with the city of Windhoek's leadership to tackle some burning issues that they feel needs to be addressed to improve the livelihoods of those who reside within the city. Mr. Kandundu, good evening and welcome, sir.
Evening.
It's good to have you here.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, also a former member of the City of Windhoek Council, now playing devil's advocate on the other side.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can you please just briefly give us an introduction about as to who this committee is and why it was formed?
This committee is it's a baby born out of Katutura residents who happened to come together on the 8th March 2023 as per their experience or difficulties through they went. As you know that before 2020, the country was approaching recession. We all experienced economical difficulties. And then we fall into COVID for the past 4 years. And this COVID, what it did, which some people don't know, especially in Katutura, because the majority of Katutura people who are staying in those old houses, they are unemployed. They are people who depend on creating self-employment. By so doing, this committee came up as a result of COVID-19. And the residents themselves made a research from house to house. Most of these houses, they experienced difficulties of accommodating a quite big number of people as our cultures, which you don't deny, even yourself, Matthias. You grew up in Katuturas, and a lot of people, they come from communal area for better education. And their situation of COVID-19, that is the point of departure from our side, from where we take up the discussion. To say that, can we discuss COVID-19 itself? What did it do to the people? What are the consequences? Can we look at it as a whole? And this is the appeal that we put to the city, to say, let's come around the table, let's discuss, let's look together at COVID-19, how it affected the Katutura people. In terms of businesses, as you know that there were curfews applied. We are not against the regulation as they were applied, because this was fighting the virus. But we are saying, as a result, what are we discussing now? That is what we are raising.
Well, the issue that brought us here today is mainly your ongoing discussions with the Windhoek municipality. Some of the issues that the committee has highlighted is the issue of the introduction of prepaid electricity meters, the watering meters, the debt collection regime, and the general maintenance of infrastructure within the jurisdiction which the committee finds itself. How is that going? How has it been received by those who are in charge of the municipality?
Anyway, as per your question, already on the 5th of April, as you can see, this document was submitted after the meeting of the 8th of March, to which the city was reluctant. It did not want to give us answers. It ignored whatever. And then later, we planned a demonstration. And as you can see, almost 1,000 demonstrators or petitioners who signed this document,
Yeah.
and we put in a request. And I don't want to go much on that one because there were issues that we raised. And these issues were, amongst others, writing off debt, introduction of prepaid water and electricity system, all prepaid meters. We also said do away with the estimation system. And we said remove red force. So these were some of the requests we put. And then later, we were granted an opportunity where the two parties had a meeting on the 19th. And that meeting, we came up with a submission that we thought it will be a solution for both parties. And in that one, we had made proposals, amongst others, prepaid meter systems which need to be installed before writing off of debts. And we say the elimination of estimation of accounts. To us, we say it's an old-fashioned. It doesn't work anywhere in the modern world. So it's something that put the residents in problems. And it also brings a lot of clash between the residents and the city.
So someone would then ask, then what do you then propose as a solution?
We propose a solution. We said bring in installed prepaid water meters, installed prepaid electricity meters. That is those are the two solutions we brought in.
And who's going to cover this cost?
This could, we said, for the pensioners, because of the debt in which they are now. You write off 100% of the pensioner debt. And also, that's why we came up with a formula. And the formula that we proposed was that, as follows. We made a classifications of such a proposals. And that is number one, the pensioner, we said 100% should be written off. We therefore recommend the following: uncollectible debts, that is 100%. Vulnerable persons, 75%. Businesses, because as you know, businesses in Katutura, they were shut down every second minute. So at the moment, their survival are questionable. Go around in Katutura, there's no way. Businesses, they are not collecting the income they were collecting before. And we are saying other group with special circumstances, 75%. But then at the same time, we are saying that 75%, we also felt like we must also allow the city to collect something that is 25% in an installment. That one depend on how it will be arranged and how it will be done. And then we also propose that the pensioners must get the installation of prepaid must also be free. So we also had a proposal that if the account reach, let's say reach 6,000 after writing off debts, so we came at a point to say, can we have a point where we seal, where we say, now we are cutting off when the account reach 6,000. So that there will not be a situation in which we are again. So there must be a limit as to how far someone's debt can go before it. That's what we are saying.
Because the city has argued over the years that if we were to write off debts as proposed by the communities, how would the city then stay afloat?
No, look, when you are writing off debt, there is a way to do it. It depends on what is your approach. If you want to collect as you're supposed to do it, before you write off, we are also proposing that you install before you write off. So the moment the debt are written off, then the new process start. The collection through prepaid meters, it's just taking off. It's just starting. So it's kicking off. So we are not going to wait again another 2 months or 1 month, but just from that time, then the collection start. So the city is regenerating income in that process. So that is basically what we propose.
You seem to hint that the city's way of managing its affairs as far as managing the debt is concerned is not quite effective. Would you then say the communities are paying the price for the city's inability to manage its affairs?
Yeah, but you see what we are saying here. We are not fighting the city. We are trying to bring solution. The platform that we had both sides, we were, from our side, also learned that we don't go there to demand the writing off, but we go there to bring proposals. Let's say the way how things should be done in order to have a solution to this problem. Therefore, we are saying what we see, the city does not understand how to go about on these matters. And that's why we are saying, if you go the route of a Red Force as a debt collector, all of us we know in this country that what will the debt collector do? There is an act governing debt collectors, and a debt collector had steps that it needs to take. And at the end of the day, is to sell those houses or property of those poor people in Katutura. And that is what we are trying to prevent now. Because the city, we hear the city is trying to build here and there houses. But these houses in which Katutura people are now is the houses that municipality built for those people. Now you want to hand them over to debt collector so that they can then be auctioned, while you haven't built houses since independence up to now. So I don't know. That's why we are trying to fight that one not to happen beforehand. And they must not say later, we did not reminded them about this Red Force issue. And that's why we are asking even, is there perhaps conflict of interest in this? Or what is really the need of having this? While you have a debt management department, at the same time you have again a debt collector outside. So you are having two departments now that you are handling. So the other one we know, we as residents we know that the other one will only be there either to sell houses to elite in this country. And we don't want to go that way. We want a municipality that will speak to the people on the ground. We want a municipality that will look after the people on the ground. And that's why we always keep on reminding that whether you want or not, COVID-19 in the city of Windhoek, it caused it so that we are sitting with this problem. And I can prove to you.
Okay. Mr. Kandundu, we wait for a short break and we'll be back to continue this conversation. But to our viewers, wait for a short break. We'll be back to continue this conversation. Well, we're back from that short break. Mr. Kandundu, just to continue this conversation, the issue of, you mentioned that there's a duplication of debt managing responsibilities here. You have Red Force and you have those employed by the city to do this job. How do you think this arrangement impacts the people on the ground, the ratepayers?
Yeah, actually it impacts them in a sense that at the end of the day, every time Red Force talk to them, what is causing to them, a lot of people, they are falling in depression. A lot of people, they are falling in suicide. These are the things that is coming on the ground. Because people in Katutura, they don't sleep now. Every day when he sleep today, he think of what is the Red Force is going to do to me. And secondly, I have read the city policy where it says it's upholding the dignity of the people. And the way Red Force is doing on the ground is disrespect the people on the ground.
Yeah.
They just come anytime, whether you have a shop which is selling meat or whatever, whether those things are going to get rotten or what loss you are going to make is up to you. Whether you have somebody who's sick in the house or whether there is a death among the families, whatever is there, they just come outside and they disconnect whatever is there. Is that upholding of human dignity? These are questions that I'm asking still, which I don't get answer to. And also, secondly, they are talking in their policy about the economic circumstances in the country. And that is what is happening, what happened during COVID, which they don't even look at it. And they are talking about uncollectible debts. What are those things that they are talking about? If a person the house rent into 500,000, which is even not the value of the property, are you going to say that that person will pay? With what can he pay? And secondly, what the city should understand here is that a lot of Katutura people, the only business that they are running today, they are renting out those rooms. The 4-bedroom house, the 2 rooms go for rent, and the other 2 rooms is for the family. And these 2 rooms that go for rent is to generate income in order to feed the children and for them to be paid for their school stationery and stuff. So maybe there is a time when people must come in Katutura and see how the people of Katutura live there. The businesses from which they live, my friend, is something that you wonder, how will this person can really pay his or her debt?
You've also mentioned in your statement that there's this trend of local authorities not heeding to the recommendations of the residents. What is the committee going to do this time around to ensure that your recommendations are actually taken up?
You see, in this country or even in the constitution of our republic, there is clear measures. There is freedom of expression, there is freedom of whatever. So if you see the city is refusing to respond to your needs, as residents, there are many other avenues that you can explore in order for you to put pressure on the city. And I can tell you, it's very easy for residents to put pressure on the city because they are the people who vote the councillor that are sitting in the city. So it's up to them whether they are willing to respond to their electorates or they are not willing to do that. So here where we are standing now, there are 2 things here. The residents are talking, they are talking as electorate, they are talking as residents in the city, and you are not responding to them. So in a way, there will be a clash between the council and the residents. And as you know, if that happened, so you ought to know what could be the consequences of that. And as you know that there are also other level of government to which residents have access if they happen to see that the city is not responding, because people must understand that local government responsibility is to look after, because the word local, at the end of the day, it will come up with locations.
Yeah.
So these people are responsible to take care of locations.
Yeah.
That's where the word location come from. It come from local government. Local government is supposed to look after the people locally. And if you are not doing that one, the people will turn against you, obviously.
Yeah. A part of your statement reads, for some reason, we hardly see City of Windhoek take defaulters to court. We want to believe this is because you are aware that some of the debts you are pursuing have prescribed, and in the court of law, such claim will not succeed. Yeah. Can you touch on this a bit?
You see what we are trying to say here. The issue of, we are trying to tell the people and the city, it's a reminder to them that this whole thing of Red Force, it will end up in court, and most people, if the court authorizes the auctioning of houses, the people will lose property. And that is what we are preventing now. It should not be the step to which we go to as city and residents. That's why we are saying refrain from those debt collectors' route. Come back, let's do something better. Let's sit around the table, let's agree on clearing the account, and let's take a way forward, and that is to come up with the prepaid meters, water meters and electricity meters. So we are trying to remind them that we don't want to hear those defaulters issues. You know very well that at that stage there will be summons, there will be a lot of things to be done. And that is why we are saying refrain from Red Force.
Yeah. You've mentioned in the beginning that the city was a bit reluctant when the committee started off. How's the situation now?
Yeah.
After your meeting?
Yeah, actually, when you deal with these matters, some of us, we know how to go about. And at the moment, we cannot say the situation is better, because even now, we have agreed on the 19th July, at that meeting to which they invited us. And when we came there, we agreed that they are going to come back to us after 2 weeks. And according to how we counted the days, we used the weekdays, and we had the understanding that on the 2nd, which is last week, Wednesday, we were supposed to have a second meeting. And we agreed that we are going to have a second meeting where we are going to meet again in order for them to hear according to what we have proposed to them.
Yeah.
Because that proposal was also, it formed part of the discussion. It was actually the agenda of the meeting. And up to now, that's why on the day before, which was Tuesday, we handed in a letter where we thought, let's write a letter from our side in order to remind them on the deadline, to which up to now they haven't come back. So maybe we don't know what is the agenda. So by now we cannot say they are good or they are what, but we wonder, because the first document that we gave in, they were like reluctant. They could not write to us. They could not answer anything. Yeah. But anyway, that is where we stand.
Yeah. Just lastly, before we wrap up, how do we find balancing ground to ensure that the residents' needs are catered for, what you are proposing in your proposal that was submitted, and at the same time, the municipality is not unfairly or crippled financially just because we want to cater for the needs of the residents? Because we do know these resources from the residents are the ones that are keeping the city afloat.
That's why in our documents, we propose something that can be further discussed. That's why we even said the second meeting must take place. so that we can see how we can place the things in such a way that it cannot affect both sides.
Yeah.
Because we are also willing to see that the city, on the same time, is generating income so that it can run its affairs. But we don't want to see a situation while we are busy with these issues. Now we are hearing in the newspapers, the smart you know, now we hear the prepaid will cost 10,000 up to 20,000. Some of these things to us, now they come to our mind to think about, what is this now?
Yeah.
Because on the other side, we are talking to each other here, but all of a sudden we hear something else, and this one, what we are hearing, is something that fits the rich people, not to Katutura. It will not fit there. The people will not afford the 10,000 up to 20,000.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that one will be applied somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe Hazel, what is the location?
Listen name.
Yeah, maybe not in Katutura.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the city say don't have money, but on the other side you see something new coming.
Yeah.
Which is not in the interest of Katutura people.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Kandundu, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Yeah.
And
I also thank you.
And we wish you well in your work.
Why not?
Thank you. Well, to our viewers, that's it from the Evening Review team. We wish you a pleasant night. See you again tomorrow, same time, same place.